In the 20th century, one resource shaped the destiny of nations: oil. It powered industries, created empires, decided wars, and determined who would lead the world and who would fall behind. But in the 21st century, something far more basic, far more essential to life itself is running out: water. Across the planet, rivers are dying, lakes are shrinking, groundwater is collapsing, and billions of people are slowly entering a future where clean water is no longer guaranteed. This is not a distant problem. This is not a future crisis. This is happening right now. And just like oil once did, water is beginning to reshape global politics, power, conflict, and survival. Look at the world today. The Colorado River in the United States, once powerful enough to curve the Grand Canyon, is now barely reaching the sea. In India, the Yamuna flows like a toxic drain through the capital. In Africa, entire regions face drought that last for years. In the Middle East, countries survive only because they convert seawater into drinking water. Water, once free and abundant, is becoming scarce, expensive, and political. And this scarcity is changing everything. Nearly 2 billion people already live in water stressed regions. By 2040, this number is expected to double. But why is this happening? The first reason is climate change. Rising temperature, increasing increase evaporation. Rainfall becomes unpredictable. Some regions face floods while others face permanent drought. The water cycle that sustained civilizations for thousands of years is breaking down. The second reason is population growth. More people means more water demand, not just for drinking but for food. Agriculture alone consumes nearly 70% of the world's fresh water, and inefficient irrigation wastes massive amounts of it. The third reason is pollution. Industries dump waste into rivers, cities release untreated sewage, chemicals seep into groundwater. We're poisoning the same water sources we depend on to survive. This crisis is not just natural, it is man made. As water becomes scarce, rivers are no longer just rivers. They are turning into geopolitical weapons. Rivers do not respect national borders, but countries do. And where rivers cross borders, conflict begins. High in the Himalayas lies the Tibetan Plateau, the source of Asia's most important rivers. China controls this region. From here flow rivers that support billions of people of India, Southeast Asia, and beyond. China is building massive dams on rivers like the Brahmaputra. India fears that in a future conflict, water flow could be controlled, reduced, or weaponized. Water in this scenario becomes silent pressure, not fired, not announced, but devastating. Now shift to Africa. The Nile River has sustained civilizations for over 5,000 years. Egypt depends on it for 97% of its freshwater. Upstream Ethiopia built the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the largest dam in Africa. For Ethiopia, it means development and electricity. For Egypt, it feels like an existential threat. At one point, military action was openly discussed because when water security disappears, diplomacy weakens. In the Middle East, water scarcity is directly linked to instability. The Jordan River is shrinking. Israel and Palestine struggle over access. Turkish dams on the Tigris and Euphrates affect Iraq and Syria downstream. In this region, water is not just a resource, it is survival. Every wealthy nations are not immune. The Colorado River supplies water to millions in the United States and Mexico. But overuse and climate change have pushed it to the brink. States fight over allocations. Mexico receives less water each year. This is what the future looks like when water demands excess exceeds supply. While nations fight over rivers, on the surface, a far more dangerous crisis unfolding underground groundwater. Hidden beneath our feet, aquifers have quietly supported cities, farms, and industries. But now they are collapsing. India extracts more groundwater than China and the United States combined. Half of the world's major cities depend on aquifers that are drying. Mexico City is shrinking because groundwater has been over extracted. Once groundwater is gone, it doesn't return in years. It takes thousands of years to recharge. This is irreversible damage. As freshwater disappears, humanity turns to the oceans. Desalination. The technology that removes salt from seawater is booming. Saudi Arabia produces nearly half of its drinking water this way. The UAE runs some of the world's largest desalination plants. Israel has mastered efficient desalination and water recycling. Singapore recycles wastewater so clean it becomes drinking water again. But desalination comes with problems. It is expensive, it consumes massive energy, it produces toxic brine that damages marine ecosystems. For rich nations, desalination is survival. For poor nations, it remains out of reach. Yet, as freshwater disappears, every country will eventually face the same question. How much are you willing to pay for water? Whenever a resource becomes scarce, business follows, and so does exploitation. In cities like Mumbai, Chennai, water tankers mafia controls supply during shortages. In California, water rights are traded like financial assets. Global corporations extract groundwater to sell bottled water even in water stressed regions. In South Africa's Cape Town, people once stood in long lines counting liters, facing day zero the day taps would run dry. Water, once a human right, is becoming a commodity, just like oil once did. Will countries go to war for water? Probably not full scale wars, but water will be used as leverage. Dams will become pressure tools, supply will become a bargaining chip, scarcity will destabilize weak nations and strengthen powerful ones. Water wars may not look like wars, they will look like diplomacy under threat. So, can this crisis be stopped? Yes, but only if action is taken now. Smart immigration, smart irrigation systems can save over half the water used in farming. Rainwater harvesting can capture monsoon water instead of letting it flood cities. Water recycling can turn waste into supply. Solar power desalination can reduce cost and emissions. The solutions exist. What is missing is urgency because the global water crisis is not coming, it's already here. And if we fail to act, water will become what oil once was expensive, political, and controlled by the powerful.